Here I'm showing how I research a new recipe. I wanted to make something with fish, so I just Googled fish and fish tacos came up. So on the left side of my screen, I read the recipe, and on the right side, I put it into Excel and multiplied it by 3 and created my shopping list.
This recipe serves 4, and since I wanted it to be a serving of 2, I went through and cut it in half where I thought necessary. And then I came to my Excel spreadsheet, and as you can see, I did fish tacos, a serving of 2. Here's the ingredients. Here's the ingredients for the slaw. Here's how to make one recipe, and this multiplied it by 3 because I'm only gonna do a batch of 3 this time instead of a batch of 6. And then I wrote out my the shopping list, but keep in mind some of the things aren't gonna go on the shopping list in full. Like the sour cream, it's not to make in the fish, it's as a topping later. So if you're not gonna make this for a couple of weeks, why buy the sour cream now? Same thing with the avocado. I only put 1 avocado on the list because we are gonna make this Sunday night, but I don't wanna buy all 3 avocados right now because obviously they'll go bad by the time we eat them. Same thing with like the purple cabbage and the jalapeno. While technically for the purple cabbage I need 3 cups, remember this is for the slaw and this is for a topping to go on top of your fish tacos. It's not used to actually prep and marinate and freeze them. So for those ingredients, I just did the serving of 1 because I don't want anything to go bad, but anything to actually prep the fish and that's going on the fish, I'm gonna do the full 3 servings for the batch, if that makes sense. The receipt from just buying the ingredients for the fish recipe, and just keep in mind like the Ziploc bags, they were almost $7, and that is because I only have gallon size, but I needed quart size freezer bags. Keep in mind it's a pack of 50 and I'm only gonna need 3 of them, so they'll definitely last me for weeks and weeks. And this is to make 3 batches instead of 6, and it's 2 servings per bag instead of 4, so it is less meals for the money. So I am spending more money per meal on making this than I do in the other meal prep videos, but keep in mind it is also fish. And instead of cabbage, because we're never going to eat all that leftover purple cabbage, I got this blend because I'll definitely add chicken and other stuff to eat it for lunch. So it just sounded like an amazing blend to mix with the fish. And then obviously I didn't need this many tortillas, but it was the smallest pack I could find. But the good thing about it is they will be perfect for breakfast tacos. And then I was excited to find this little tiny baby can of corn, because remember, I only need half a cup, so I'm still actually only gonna need half of this. But then again, I'll save the other half and eat it on my lunch throughout the week. It's just better than the big giant can. And then instead of limes, I always buy this juice because I never have to worry about the limes going bad or not producing enough. And if you read the back up here, it says 3 tablespoons of this juice is the equivalent to 1 medium lime. So on the recipe where it says 1 whole lime, I'll use 3 tablespoons. Basically, it's going to be $10 per meal, but it's only serving 2, so it's going to be about $5 per person. But again, to have fish tacos at $5-ish per person, not bad. And then just keep in mind though, with this recipe, if somebody's going to make it with absolutely nothing on hand, it's going to be more expensive because I took olive oil off the list. I already have it. I took vegetable oil off the list, mayonnaise, honey, and all 6 spices. I already have all those spices on hand from the 42 meal preps that I did. So I didn't need to buy a single spice. So keep in mind, if you had to go buy all those spices and mayonnaise and honey, like it's going to add up. It's going to be more expensive, but that's like with anything when you first start cooking and you have 0 spices. But once you start having them on hand and use them more often, you'll have them for the next recipe and you won't have to go buy it. So I just wanted to preface it with that while I spent $30, if you have none of this on hand, it could definitely be more expensive. Here's part 3 of batch prepping fish tacos. There's my tilapia. Here's all my seasonings and ingredients, the 3 bag stands, and the whisk and everything I need to make it. As always, I label my bags before I put them on the stand. These are quart size freezer bags instead of gallon because less is going in there. I only made a batch of 3 this time to just show that you can make smaller servings even if you have a small freezer. And I only did a serving of 2 just so you can see how to make it on a smaller scale. I'm making a marinade and these should be a little bit spicy because it has chili powder, cayenne, cumin, a lot of lime juice, which makes me very happy. And I just dipped the fish in there multiple times. And there's 2 pieces per bag.
And then I take whatever is left, the marinade, and I just spoon it into each bag so it can soak in that marinade, and it should really bring out the flavor. Laying it flat, letting it out all the air, and I will put it in the freezer. Here's the finished product. Took it out of the freezer and did a fast thaw while I made the slaw. So first I started with mayonnaise, then honey, lime juice, jalapeno, cilantro, and I whisked it all together. Then I added in the cabbage and corn and stirred that all together, topped it off with some salt and pepper, and put it in the refrigerator while I made the fish. And then I went ahead and sliced the avocado so it was ready to go. I put some oil in the bottom of the pan. Now, we cooked this on medium-high heat because we like the outside of our fish, like really crunchy and really like just a crisp crunch when you bite into it, and then the inside's still flaky. So we do cook it on higher heat to really get that fried underside on it. I let it cook for about 4 minutes on each side, and I know my stove's not level, and that's why the oil's in the back half, not the front half, but that's why I shift the pan around here and there. You can't really see it. But then I flipped it one final time, let it cook for 2 more minutes, took it out, shredded it with some forks, and then I assembled the tacos. That's enough to make 4 full tacos. Obviously, if you wanted more tacos, you could put less fish in it, but as you can see, like it's a good amount of fish per taco. And then I topped it with the slaw, sliced avocado, and then some sour cream. Look how beautiful that looks. This tasted absolutely amazing. Can't wait to eat it again. Hi, and welcome back. This is the fish taco recipe that I prepped this week, and I just wanted to go over how to read the Excel spreadsheet. So it's fish tacos. I cut this down to where it's a serving of 2, and then I only did a batch of 3 this time instead of a batch of 6. So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of that and how to read it. So basically, I broke down the ingredients for the fish tacos, the slaw, when you're cooking it, and assembling the tacos. So when you're making if you're only making one batch and you just want to make this fresh tonight and that's it, so this is the ingredients for one recipe. So it'll be olive oil, 1.5 tablespoons. But if you're going to batch it, then you need 4.5. For lime juice, it's 1 whole lime. If you're going to batch it, you need 3. The chili powder is 1 teaspoon. If you're going to batch it, you need 3 teaspoons. Paprika is 1/2 teaspoon. If you're going to batch it, 1.5 teaspoons. So basically, that's how to read it back and forth. If you're going to batch it, then you need all of these ingredients at once. It says cod or whitefish. I ended up using tilapia because that's what I could find that had exactly 6 pieces in it, and it looked really good and was a great price. So I ended up doing that. So when you go to batch it and go shopping, you're going to want all of these if you're batching it. But for the slaw, you're not going to want to batch it because if you make one this week, but you don't make the next one for another few weeks or a month, obviously the cilantro will be gone by then. It'll be wilted. The limes will be shrunk down and brown and gross. The jalapenos will probably be gross by then. The purple cabbage will definitely be gross by then. So again, for the slaw, this is more so you're going to want to buy it a day or 2 before you're going to make it versus having the batch amount on hand. I did include the batch recipe just in case for some reason you decided, hey, I have 3 batches in the freezer, but people are coming over and I need all 6 pieces of fish. Well, then here's enough to make slaw for all 6 servings of fish. So I batched it just in case it was necessary. Now, cooking the fish, you're going to cook it in vegetable oil because it can handle higher temperatures. So again, if you're doing one batch, you just need about, a 1/4 of a tablespoon. But if you're cooking it on a bigger pan, you want to at least make sure the oil's covering the bottom of the pan. If you're going to cook all 6 pieces, obviously you need more oil because it will soak up the oil. For assemble and toppings, this is kind of like the slaw. You're not going to go out and buy all the sour cream and all the avocado right now because it won't be good when you go to use it weeks from now. Unfortunately, I wish I could just buy 4 corn tortillas. I did say in a previous video when I went grocery shopping that I bought the smallest pack possible, but on a good note, I'll just use them for breakfast tacos. I have a carnita recipe, so maybe I'll make carnitas for dinner, and if there's any left over, I can do some scrambled eggs and carnitas and throw it in a taco and have an amazing breakfast taco. So again, these are just things you're not going to buy in batch unless you're cooking all 6 pieces for a party or something or your family.
and you need the full batched amount. So I want to preface that with the shopping list. Last time I did it, my shopping list had the full batch amount on there because nothing was going to go bad. But in this case, these ingredients for like the slaw and everything, it's only on there for one set. So I just want to let you know. The cod part of it, because it's all going in the freezer, it's all three batches. But like the limes, I only put 3 limes to batch the fish, but then only included one more lime for the slaw. So that's why there's 4 limes instead of 6. Same thing with the sour cream. Same thing. I only put 1 avocado instead of 3 avocados. So just be aware that if for some reason you are cooking all 6 pieces and you need the slaw for 6 and the toppings for 6, the shopping list is not set up for that. It is set up to batch all 6 and then to serve it one time in the near future. So even if you're going to batch it, but you don't want to serve it for at least 2 weeks, then obviously you need to take 1 lime off. You need to take off the jalapeno, the cabbage, the cilantro, the avocado. So you're going to need to adjust the list how it works for you. But I just wanted to show that this is everything you'll need for a batch of 3 to freeze and then to actually prep it and cook it one time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm going to link this Excel spreadsheet down below so you can have it and save it to your file. You can add it to the 42 meal prep Excel that I posted in a previous video. And as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions or new recipes you want to see, feel free to drop it in the comments below. I'm going to try to do 1 recipe a week if time allows for it. Obviously, I am a foster mom of 2 and I get busy sometimes, and we have the 42 meals in the freezer. It's been a week, so we have about 6 meals less in the freezer, but obviously, that's why I'm also doing smaller batches, and I also wanted to show how smaller batches can work when you have a smaller freezer, because I know in my 42 meal prep, some people were like, that's amazing, but that would never work for me. I'm a single person, or I have a normal size apartment freezer, and that's okay. If you're a single person, this is perfect. Like that fish is a batch of 2, so you can have it for dinner, and then you can either have it again for dinner the next night, or you can have it for lunch. Also, for a small freezer, this is a batch of 3, and they're small quart-sized bags. So these bags take up barely any space. So there's no reason that they can't be in your freezer. And then again, even if you're just doing it 2 nights a week for yourself, just make a few recipes, and then 2 nights a week, so that way you don't have to go out or cook from scratch or prep. It's just there for nights where you had a long day at work, you come home, you don't want to order out, but you don't really want to go through the hassle of prepping anything. Just make smaller meals and have it on the go for you. Hope you enjoy it, and talk to you soon.